This is what 6 months and nearly £10,000 can look like while renovating a house in the UK.
Absolute dread.
But behind all of this, we've actually done a huge amount of work.
That's how it's looking.
This house needed everything doing. We had an ancient kitchen. You won't be cooking any meals in here anytime soon. A monstrosity of a rear entrance. A downstairs bathroom, which was the only bathroom in the house. An asbestos garage, leaky flat roofs, dodgy electrics, and the list goes on.
In this series, we're showing you how we transformed this house all for under £20,000.
So there obviously is a car buried somewhere.
And with us reaching the midpoint of our renovation, the truth behind a complete DIY transformation.
You got that, use?
Got it.
A challenge that was so much harder than we could have ever expected. And we've come to realise that it was on the renovation extremes for an average couple, bringing us so many perks and so many problems.
Oh, Kira. Not good.
But all of this has led us to our 6 months update, and hopefully you'll agree that we've come a long way.
And so, we got handed the keys, and the first thing we tackled was the kitchen. Now look what's down, look at that.
Ah, newspapers.
That's an old one.
Sweets, there's biscuits down there. I'm interested to see the date on that. That must have been
That's 2000. This was before you were born.
crazy.
The age and layout of this house just didn't work, and as we aren't living here, it was the first thing to go. We had waited 6 months to get the keys for this house, and on day one, I think we got a little hammer happy, but all with our new floor plan in mind, and it's probably the most productive time we've had in this renovation so far.
Just had to use my drill.
My baby drill wasn't big enough.
That didn't take 20 minutes, did it?
No.
2 whole days of stripping everything out because of stupid things like this.
Why is that in the shower?
Our first financial hit was when we decided to knock through this wall and create a big open plan kitchen diner.
See, original arch there.
He's too scared to go downstairs and show you the progress of the wall.
On the original plans, this wall was the back of the house, which is why removing it cost us so much.
While that was being done, I decided to route the hot and cold feeds to our new upstairs bathroom.
And these are just poking up here, so this is the first fix of these done.
But that wasn't the only structural change we made. We decided that this window needed to be our new back door.
And our new back doors are going to be right there. Okay, so that's out.
It's clear we bit off more than we can chew with this renovation, but we really felt the layout needed it for the house to reach its full potential. But it did take us 2 solid days to upgrade these windows and to fit these patio doors. But what about our old back door?
It's a new day, people. As you can see, it's been snowing.
This is the only rear outdoor entrance we've got at the minute. We obviously didn't need this anymore, and now with plans to turn this into our new downstairs loo, we can start bricking it up.
Annoyingly for me, they've carried the render around, so I'm going to have to hack all the old render off on both sides. So to expose the original brickwork. Yeah, because I don't think it'd be right to brick up straight onto old render, so there's no transfer of like moisture or anything.
What seemed like an easy task actually took weeks. Each evening, slowly progressing brick by brick.
So I didn't realise how big
Bloody hell. Huge.
Here we are on the outside. This is the vent I've put in, and then there's a sleeve in the centre for the cavity. Obviously you can see I've built up the inner skin. Made sure I've put brick ties every 2 courses, and obviously used the wall ties up to that point, and I need to fix the new ones in. But because this void is below DPM, we need to basically fill that up with a lean mixed concrete. It's to stop like rodents getting in or water pooling and stuff like that. So, and to be honest, there's been a bit of a time pressure on this job. For some reason it's taken me absolutely ages. I don't know what it is, but yeah, essentially the wall is built. So this is what this area of the house is looking like.
It took us a while to come to this decision. To turn the back door into a room, it would mean adding a complete new floor, but it was all thought through.
Soil stack is currently here in the kitchen in the centre. It just makes more sense in my mind where we have the toilet in the old back door space because it's kind of already built next to the pantry and utilities.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense. If we're going to have a waste there anyway, we're going to need the toilet there.
What should have been an easy route from soil stack to new toilet got ripped apart by building control. They aren't happy for us to put the new soil stack under the floor in the kitchen like we originally thought. So annoyingly, what I'm going to have to do is locate the waste pipe outside. That means cutting out a lot of concrete, and we're actually going to start rooting the soil stack on the out exterior of the house. So we'll have to come along the whole length of the house, down under the ground and to the main manhole.
But oh, that sounds so easy in theory.
As we can't have the soil stack where we originally wanted, we're having to reroute it across the whole length of the house.
It's going pretty well.
But to do that, we've got to first locate the exterior drain to connect onto.
I thought it was going to be way thicker than that.
There was no saying that the pipe would actually be there. I made an educated guess and just hoped for the best.
Found it. I've been digging around here, and this is the pipe. That's a massive relief.
After the drama around this, it was really nice just to get one win. And from here, I had one job: cut away the concrete and dig a trench.
Ewan dug this trench through sun, hail and snow. To be honest, it's one of those jobs that we wish we could have paid someone to do. With the big jobs meaning slow progress, we were balancing both money and time delays. And with 3 companies refusing to give us a quote, Ewan committed to doing this himself.
We've had to contact Severn Trent, and we're waiting for their approval.
And worse than that,
We obviously need to dig another trench here to where the soil stack will come down the wall. It's going to come down here. Going to have a little bend on it underground, straight to the inspection chamber. So I still need to dig all this bit out as well.
that's clearly not a face of a happy man. But nevertheless, he got cracking.
Okay.
Or should I say digging? We started to see why so many people had turned this job down. And to add more madness to the mix, the rumours of a buried car turned out to be true.
So maybe it's true, maybe the rumour about him burying his car in the back garden is true.
It's an exhaust in the ground. That was on the end of it.
So there obviously is a car buried somewhere.
So Ewan continued his digging every night for weeks, through Christmas and New Year's. All the while, I turned the heating on full blast and started on a slightly different project. If you've never been so lucky as tackling wood chip wallpaper, you can partially live it through me.
It's the thickest thing in the world.
And oddly through the people who'd originally decorated the room.
And it's actually so ironic because here it says 4 rolls of wallpaper on the fireplace, 3 rolls are here, the 23rd of September 1984. Yeah.
It's gotta go. And go it did. We had a few weeks of really bad weather, and with not knowing what to start next, naturally, we tackled the living room.
Charlie's helping us today. Say hello.
Hello.
Charlie's going to get all the main bulk off, and then Kira's going to follow him around with the steamer. We're just going to aim to strip all this room today because we're limited to what we can actually do because of the stupid English weather. How's it going?
I'm hoping that's not lead paint. Reeks.
And with more cool finds and writing on the wall, we wanted to bring this room back to its original state.
Behind this bit here is another archway, which we're now just decided that we're going to open back up.
Now, if you're thinking this room is a state, you'd be right in thinking that. Our plans are to separate this off into a living dining room space. But before we could do that, this house needed a full rewire.
Yeah.
And in true budget-friendly DIY renovation style, of course we did it ourselves.
That's it, yeah. So
Smashed it.
We go into so much detail in this in our full video, but just to highlight it for you.
Now, luckily we actually know an electrician that rewired our old house. We're going to start on the downstairs, sort of like first fix, putting all the sockets in the wall like this one here.
Oh, that looks neat.
But good progress never lasts.
Oh, Kira, we've got a massive leak in the roof.
So I was just showing you the noise coming from the window and how bad the seal is. And I looked up. It looks a little bit wet to me. So he's going to pop into the loft and see what sort of leak we might be getting.
Oh, Kira. Not good. Got a leak. Oh, fuck. Look at that. It's actually dripping. That's really bad, Kira. I can see the water running down. So it's probably the join around the chimney, isn't it? The like the lead.
This is an unexpected issue, I guess. That doesn't look good. All of our research suggested that the lead flashing around the chimney had gone. With a quote of £600 and a lot of advice not to do it, Ewan decided to do it himself.
I knew that thing was going to stab me already. Ow! I like spread my weight so it's not all on the ladders.
How big are the holes?
Pretty big. I'm pretty sure now the leak must be coming from there, surely.
And as we got down through and climbed in, it felt like a big relief to have something so big ticked off the list. Obviously at this stage we'd done quite a lot, but also what felt like quite little. So naturally we were itching to start something that we could actually finish. And the issue of having no bathroom.
Had a look at other floor plans and come up with a couple of solutions.
Now that the downstairs bathroom was becoming our kitchen, we were pretty keen to make sure we had a bathroom upstairs. And one way to do it, split the master bedroom.
So what's next then?
I move on to actually fitting the stud wall that's going to partition the master bedroom and the new upstairs bathroom. We've opened the old master bedroom doorway up, and the master bedroom is now going to be split into a bedroom and a upstairs bathroom. We're going to have a door into the bathroom here and then a door somewhere here opening up into the bedroom.
Now I have skipped quite a crucial step here. To get to this point, Ewan had to open up our doorway, and this was a load-bearing wall, which meant he had to install a lintel. Let me just rewind.
Can you see? The prop's in, and that's in the centre of where our concrete lintel's going to be. Using a mixture of the chisel and then the angle grinder to get the mortar out. The first brick's ready to come out.
Ewan had never done this before, but we'd found out how much structural work can actually cost. And even though we were only moving the doorway by a fraction, it was what we needed to get up to building regs for our new hallway into our new bathroom.
I'm going to attempt to do this on my own.
And once he got it in, it gave us free rein to build our new stud wall. And even that didn't come as easy as we'd hoped. With the bathroom already being small, where we wanted the wall, there was nowhere to fix it into.
Located the joist, runs a few centimetres off. So either get in the loft or pull some of the ceiling down to get a fixing into the joist to bring it out a bit, or across the two joists. Yeah, so either one really. I could just use something like this. So imagine the joist runs that way. I'll screw that onto there, which means I'll be able to get my stud wall fixing through.
In short, he needed to find somewhere to screw the wall into.
This is where's the nails? These are the nails, which is this joist that I need to hook onto. Something like this is what I'm doing. So there's the joist. There's my mark where my stud needs to go. So I'm just extending it a little bit, so I've got something to fix into.
It was definitely more tedious than I'd ever thought it would be.
It's hard to sort of get your level line. This is what the partition's looking like from this end. Obviously we think that's enough space for a hallway, and it's got to come a bit closer, yeah, as well.
It was nice to think that when this stud wall was built, we'd be able to start actually finishing the bedrooms and the upstairs. And that's exactly what we did. It wasn't long until we started plasterboarding.
So today we need to plasterboard this whole entire room. Actually, the whole house needs plasterboarding.
But today we're tackling this room.
So as we're doing the ceiling and the wall, usually you'd start with the ceiling. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Because I usually do this alone, I bought a telescopic pole just to hold it in place.
It was something we were both excited for, as plasterboarding meant plastering, and plastering meant painting, and painting meant a done room.
Oh yeah! Oh no!
A little bit off.
Tiny bit off, just in the middle.
And while I did that, Ewan tackled our new wall.
I think the most awkward part of this is going to be getting the plasterboard up. So where do I need it? I It looks like that's as good as I'm going to get it, which I'm pretty happy with that. I've got it as close as I can. Where the ceiling comes down to the eaves, that's obviously affected it a bit, but so start screwing it in.
With the plasterboard on, you could really see this room taking shape. We're both relieved that the room didn't feel as small as we thought it might, but was still a bit of a trade-off with wanting to keep 3 bedrooms and add a bathroom upstairs.
And that is pretty much this side done, and you can kind of gauge more of the size now.
This was obviously the first sign of this house resembling a home. And so 1 week later, we're finally plastering the first room. So you might remember we had 3 bedrooms and no bathroom. Now as you come up the stairs, we have a new bit of landing, plus this bathroom, and then our master bedroom that we've obviously split into 2. This is our new master bedroom space. To save as much money as possible, Ewan put his hand up to plaster the whole house. Ewan is not a plasterer. And his plan?
Start with the ceiling, and then if we've got more time, we'll maybe move on to that plasterboard wall.
I think it was just under £100 for the bags of plaster that we need for this room.
And those bags of plaster saved us £500 for this room alone, but only if we did it properly.
I think it's going to be a long day. Let's put a plaster in the house.
Don't know if this is even or a trusty speed to come out.
This might be your regular 1900s semi-detached, but it's showing its age and lacking the love. It's both fulfilling and weekend consuming, and by all means not a straight going ride.
Oh no.
Oh
no.
shit.
The process of plastering, as we found out, isn't very glamorous, and the main thing constantly against us is time. It seems to be the only thing we're talking about in this video, and it's a common trade-off to keep morales high and spending low. We had a lot more prep than we thought this morning, and Ewan's onto his first wall, but I think we're at around 2 PM now, so obviously we haven't done as much as we hoped.
Did part of the archway. With the archway, I've done the best that I can. It was really difficult to get in there with the trowel.
We'd spent 2 full weekends plastering this room. It had taken longer than we'd hoped and looked better than we'd ever imagined. To me, it shows more than just plastering a room. It's one small step to a completed house, something we've done almost completely DIY. And though downstairs still looks like we've hit it with a bulldozer, it gives us light at the end of the tunnel for a challenge that is well beyond what we could ever have imagined. This room is well on the way to being done, and one tiny step closer to being an forever Cotswold house. And I guess this leads you up to where we've got to. The upstairs has been plastered, and to get to that point, it took a lot of prep and a lot of time.
This is the blue grit.
So I got blue grit in and Ewan carried on plastering.
All I've done for the last 3 weekends straight is PVA scrape wallpaper, blue grit, wash plastering bucket, sleep, repeat.
But watching this now, this renovation has been so much more than that. What we once thought was that of a home makeover show quite literally turned into a full-scale rebuild. It's been our early mornings and late nights. Ewan's been an electrician, a plumber, carpenter and bricklayer. It's been a constant battle against time, big dreams and sleepless nights, and something that's far away from being over. And though we have absolutely no idea where this will end, we just hope it leads us to exactly where we want to be.